Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how you can make this mandala using non-traditional dotting tools. We're going to use some nails, pen, pencil, toothpick, you can use paper clip, anything that's round. Take it, dip it in some paint, lay out the dots just like this. You can see the large end and the small end, what they can do for you. You'll be surprised. So to get started, you're going to need a few things like water, paper towel, rag, Q-tips, paint, tools, and of course, something to paint on. Like this 4x4 ceramic tile. I like to use something that's slick and shiny like this to practice on because you can wipe up mistakes really easily and you can wipe everything off and just start again. So what I've done is I've taken a ruler from corner to corner, drawn diagonal lines to find my center. Now the tile actually measures 4 1/4 inches on each end, so I'm marking off 2 1/8, which is the center of the edges, and I'm drawing lines across meeting at the center. So that's going to give me 8 lines to work with, and my center starting point. I hope that makes sense, but you can see what I'm doing. To begin, I'm just going to put out some black, teal, and white acrylic paint. Taking the largest nail that I have and placing a black dot right in the center where all my lines converge. And for best results, always remember to clean your tools. Here, I've taken the tip of that nail and I'm dipping it in the teal, and I'm just really close as I can without touching the black. I'm dotting on each of the 8 previously drawn guidelines. After I do this, I'm going to take my pen in the same teal and I'm going to dot in between each of those. You can see that it's actually between the pencil lines, and they're smaller. I wanted them to be smaller, just add a little different interest. Here I have that berry twist you would use if you were making a wreath or any kind of a floral arrangement. And I'm dipping it in the black, and I'm going to dot directly above these smaller teal dots from the row below. And as you can see, it's in between each of the pencil lines. Now you want to make sure you keep them equidistant from the center dot, so the circle is even all the way around. Now I'm going to take my pen, and I'm going to use the back part of the pen in teal, and I'm going to place dots on the lines, on each of the pencil drawn lines. And I go diagonally across when I start doing like a north, south, east, west kind of pattern so that I can keep them lined up. Or if you want to think of it as 12, 6, 3, 9 o'clock, you can do that too. The reason why I start on the 4 corners is this way here I have a chance to decide whether I'm going to continue on or not. Now I'm going to continue on, and I'm just going to fill in the other 4 lines, dots. They're looking a little bit bigger here, and I did that purposely by using the same tool but adding a little bit more paint, dipping my tip into the paint a little bit deeper. So they're just a little bit bigger, but I just like the interest it gives. So I'm showing you how to walk the dots. It's called walking the dots. You start out by laying your first dot, and then without reloading, just continue dotting. And as you can see, the dots get progressively smaller. So I'm going to start by putting the first dot directly above the teal, which is in line with the pencil drawn line. And I'm going to keep dotting 4 dots down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see the first one is big, and then they're going to get progressively smaller, right down to the left side of the black dot. I'm going to do that all the way around. Okay, so now we're going to add the pink that I didn't know I needed at the beginning. And we're going to do basically the same thing. We're going to add the pink. We're going to start at the top, and we're going to get an extra dot in. Just because we're starting further away, we have more room. With the pink, we're going to do 5 dots. And we're going to do that all the way around. Now, going back to the teal, we're going to also walk dots. We're going to start a little further in between the first two pink dots and walk those in. And because we're further out, away from that teal dot, we will also be able to get 5 dots in here, finishing on the right side of the black. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to swoosh. That's really very easy. You put a little puddle of paint, put your tool in the paint, and then you just pull it. I'm going to show you some pulls and some pushes. It depends on you, how you like to do it. Here I'm going to do a pull. I'm putting my first puddle of pink in, and then I am pulling it down to the right side of the teal. So I'm putting that pink puddle right on the line, and then I'm dragging it right down to the teal dot below. I do a few this way, and then as I come around, I'm getting close to where I might be putting my hand in some of the wet paint that I'm putting on now. So I'm going to switch and start doing what I call a push. Instead of pulling the paint towards me, like this, I think this is my last pull. And now I've turned and put the dot down the bottom, and now I'm going to push up to the teal because I don't want to touch that pink paint that's still wet. So I put my little puddle, and I am dragging my pen towards the teal. There you go. So there's your swooshes. Now I'm using the larger nail point, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going with the black. I'm going a little bit further down. I'm going between the first two teal dots, and I'm dragging in towards or pushing in towards the teal. And that dot is a little bit short, so I'm going to try to make it a little bit longer, and it doesn't quite look right to me. So this one here, again, doesn't come out quite long enough, so I add a little bit more paint, and I pull it to the center. So I'm going to go back and try to fix this one, but I don't succeed. I end up making a mess. I'm going to grab a Q-tip with a little bit of water. Actually, I use a lot of water, and I shouldn't have. It's way too much water, and especially on a shiny, slick surface like this, it's just way too much water. So put a little bit of water and just start cleaning. That's one of the reasons why I say working on something like this to practice is really good, because you're not messing up your background, you're not messing up your base coats of anything. It cleans up really easily. Now that I've got that clean and dry, I am going back, I am redotting and re-swooshing my black. That being done, I'm grabbing one of the smaller nails and dipping the head into the teal paint, and I'm going to dot in between all of the 4 corners of the pink and the black. I'm only going to do every other one here because I have ideas for the other side. It will look like it was just floating there, so I grabbed the tip of the nail and I just dipped into the paint that I just laid down, still wet, but enough for me to grab and steal a little paint and put a dot there to kind of anchor it. Okay, so now I'm looking at it and thinking, what am I going to do next? It's pretty good now. It's basic. It's kind of bare. We need a little bit more. I think we need some more swooshes. So I'm using the tip of the nail and some teal, and it has a smaller tip, so it's going to give me a thinner line. I don't want it to be as big as the others. I just want a little hint of teal, and so I'm dragging a swoosh alongside the black all the way around. I am going to continue and do the same thing, but in the opposite direction, meeting the first teal swoosh in the center. So it's making like a V. Now, I need to finish off the center there, so I'm going to take my pen tip and I'm dipping it in the pink. And right in the center of your V, I'm going to pull down just like an exclamation point. So I'm laying my paint right in the middle, and I'm just pulling. And this is going to be our final design element for the base of our mandala. Now we want to make sure this dries completely before we continue on and do some top dots. Using a tool smaller than the dot you want to top, place an off-center dot surrounding the large center dot. Here I am using white, and I am placing an off-center dot on all of the larger of the teal dots. You can see I'm having a little problem putting that dot on there. My tool was a little dried up with the white paint, so I cleaned it, and now you can see I'm having much better luck. You also have to put enough paint on your tool. Okay, so now I'm using a little bit larger of a nail head, and I am going to put another set of white off-center top dots, doing every other teal dot. I happen to choose the one that has the multiple swooshes on it. You can choose the other. You can choose all of them. It's up to you. Another nail with a different size head, and that's quite a bit of paint. I am going to top dot, again off-center, the larger outside. Now you can see how much difference in the size there. It's quite a bit bigger. That's how I wanted to do it. You want it smaller, you can do it smaller. Now, I usually will do larger dots, like top dots like that, because normally I will come back and I'll do another set of top dots in another contrasting color. So I have sometimes 3 or even 4 levels of top dots. Now with the berry tool that we used before, I have pink, and I am placing off-center dots on the remaining set of teal dots. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to take another nail tip, and with white, I am going to go around and just fill in off-center dots on all of the black. That is going to be it. We are now done with this one. So I hope this inspired you to grab some new tools and get to dotting. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and give me a big thumbs up. I have a lot more to share, so I hope to see you again real soon.